All right, thank you so much for jumping online this week. Our match day coaches. This is our match day coach specific session for statewide referee coaching nights. This is the last one of the 4 that we're going to be running for this January, with next week being the Monday night being our first junior coaching session, junior online coaching session statewide. So before we get started as well, if you guys can just click on the QR code. We'll also put the QR code link in the chat. Let me just quickly get it up. And make sure to pop your name in there. Tonight's word is going to be, Mark, what's a good word we could use? Let's go.
Australia Day.
I was thinking 50th to celebrate.
Yeah, we can go with 50.
Yep, celebrating Meesook's 50th A-League match or 50th Australian Leagues match here in Australia. So well done to Meesook. So the code word tonight is going to be 50th, and that's in honor of Meesook.
I like the next page that you've got there, Brad, just by chance.
Is that 50th or 50?
Either one.
50 or 50th. Like I said, I'll chuck the link in the chat if people aren't able to scan the QR code. It should be open. Yeah, perfect. Well, I'll give it a couple more minutes on that one there. Perfect. It should be a quick session tonight, everyone, too. We just shouldn't take too long, as there's not much in the way of coaching videos or anything like that. So again, we'll be able to give the rest of your public holiday evening to you guys. Maybe have an early night getting ready for work tomorrow. As I look at Adrian, who I know full well does not have work tomorrow, as well as you, John, I guess. Living the life. Hopefully it's nice and sunny for you guys tomorrow too. Okay, so we'll jump into it. So today's session, we're just going to touch point on, so obviously match day coaching pathways, just to make it a bit clearer. Obviously, with the new naming conventions that have come out by Football Australia, we just want to make it clearer for everyone to understand, as well as those who are future match day coaches on board tonight, as I know a few young mentors and mentors that are coming through are on the session. We're going to go through match day reporting criteria. We've created a document to go through and assist our match day coaches in writing reports or assist them into being able to identify officials. Our referee talent ID process. We've broken down a few easier identification processes as well. Match day coach professional development, and then the bottom one there is match day coaching moderation process, which we're excited to get into at a later date. So starting off, our 2025 goals, guys, is to increase the number of match day coaches at both the community and semi-professional level by improving the education and opportunities across the state. So we want to improve the knowledge and skills of match day coaches in Queensland. Why is this important? It's to improve the development of the match official community, to improve the capabilities of our current match day coaches, stay up to date with the current approaches to support the needs of match officials, provide a supportive environment, and to stay motivated to be lifelong learners. So match day coaching pathways, and like I mentioned, the naming conventions have changed. Okay, so our community referee coach, as it'll be called now, was the old level 3 assessor, and then moving from there, those guys for the community referee coach will be coaching them also junior football match officials and our senior football match officials within the space. Our development referee coach which was the old level 2 assessor, is more so that higher end side of that senior football match official space, leading into the emerging match official space. So it's giving them some experience within the top leagues, as in FQPL 3, and just breaching that FQPL 2 level as well. And then that bottom one there is the advanced referee coach. So that one there, the advanced referee coach, is I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong there, Mark, too. That one's the Football Australia held one, and that's the old level 1 assessor course. So it's a Football Australia held course.
Correct.
Yeah, I do believe if we had enough numbers, we could request it, but it's all based on numbers. So to make it easy, we've also broken it down in regards to, how many seasons and what you'd be coaching. So what we do, as I do know, there's a lot of referee mentors that are online too. A lot of our young referee mentors who haven't got the qualifications of community referee coach. We want you guys to be a referee mentor for 1 full season. So if you're just going back within the to the junior space, you're just mentoring some of our young guys, and also sitting alongside some of our more experienced match day coaches just to gain some knowledge and experience. You'll be able to mentor those junior match officials, and this goes for everyone across the state. From there, after a full season, you'll be able to jump into that community referee coaching course, and that's where you'll be able to start match day coaching both junior and senior match officials. And then from there, obviously, I said the development referee coaching course, where we said the match day coaching senior and emerging match officials, and those the advanced referee coaching course, FA run, of course. They'll be able to match day coach the emerging and also those advanced match officials that are doing the advanced league space. So we'll have a process with our match day coaching appointments this season. So MPL down to FQPL 2 for men's and women's is going to be appointed by elite coaches. So that's through Misuk and Casey. And you're going to be appointed by Squatty for those. Then from FQPL 3 to 6, senior community and junior community, that's going to be the referee development officers and the Football Queensland appointments team that'll be able to appoint those guys via Squatty. So the process is appointments will be received via Squatty. You guys will need to confirm those matches too. For some matches, I do believe some of the Queensland Cup under 18s, for example, were on YouTube. You'll need a request this year for those ones to be uploaded from the outside platform onto Huddle. If you're wanting to have those on, or the other ones for the advanced space are always on YouTube or can be requested to put on Huddle. And for the advanced league space, we need the clips to be completed. They have to be completed along with the report, and clips and written reports submitted by close of business on Wednesday the following week. And the KMIs can be checked by the coaching group. So just make sure we're clipping those KMIs because we will be going through a lot of those KMIs in our MPL and FQPL 1 leagues, men's and women's, throughout the season in our coaching sessions for both junior and senior coaching, as well as the advanced league coaching. It's really important as well, the invoices to be completed after submission of the coaching reports. And invoices are processed on Tuesday and then they're paid by Friday. Obviously, the clips, like we said, will be reviewed for the fortnightly coaching night. That even goes for, obviously, I know, like I said, that some of the under 18s, they had some matches that were on YouTube too. We will be able to start including those. I do believe Casey and Misuk had a look at those for a couple of the junior coaching nights from the finals last year. So key match incidences. So we've identified the following KMIs which need to be reported on. We're talking reckless tackles, serious foul play, violent conduct, handball. Obviously this year with the new handball change too. Stopping a promising attack and denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity. We also asked for judgment on whether the decision was correct. This judgment is only visible to Football Queensland. So when providing feedback to the match officials in relation to these decisions, it is important that we frame the feedback in the following manner. So we identify the facts agreed upon by all parties. We outline the correct course of action through the law. Provide development around the management of match officials' processes to improve the decision, to keep the decision consistent for the future. So, and I just want to shout out to to Adam as well for helping us create this here, and I'll go through it in the document shortly too. We obviously know, and I'll touch point on the FA principles in just a moment, but we have our FQ refereeing coaching principles here. And we want to talk about these four. We want to talk about positivity, safety, growth, and excellence. Positivity, we want to talk about being brave, be courageous, and make a positive decision. Safety, safe coaching environments with equal optimal results. Growth, which builds the character and resilience in all of us. So not just our match officials, but our match day coaches. And excellence, we want to celebrate everyone's individuality. So that's what we want to look at with our FQ refereeing coaching principles. With the FA refereeing principles, and I want you guys to please remember this because we'll be touching point on it with the match day coaching reports. So the four that we have are the 4 C's: competencies, capabilities, and then we have, it should come up, chemistry and character. Okay, competencies, capabilities, chemistry, and character. So we want to make sure all of our referees fit into these categories. It's really important because FA is focusing on a lot of this in order to bring through our next generation of referees to the elite level space, from obviously grassroots to the elite level. I will touch point on this document that I will get open in 2 seconds. So again, thank you to Adam and also Mark and Casey and Misuk too. Obviously we all sat down together and we went through a bit of a workshop to get this match day coaching management framework sorted for the season. And it's really important. We'll be able to give you guys this document to go through. We'll make sure it's visible online for everyone to access at a later date. Okay, we touched point obviously those Football Queensland coaching principles. So positivity, excellence, growth, and safety. And then obviously the Football Australia refereeing principles. The type of the reports that we'll be looking at this year. So we've broken them up into these 5 type of reports. So obviously we have our junior football match official field tests. That's not changed from what the level 4 field test used to be. That's still current and still going. We just simplified it a bit as well as the other one. So we have a statewide junior coaching report. It's very simplified. It will be a tick and flick with a couple of comments being able to be left for the match officials. So a couple of coaching points, and very, very easy to read for the young match officials that are coming through because we don't want to bombard them with too much information. The statewide senior coaching report will be similar with obviously the tick and flick, but there'll be a bit more feedback being able to provide. The advanced league coaching report is going to be, again, there's going to be a couple of tick and flick areas, but of course, they're going to need a bit more feedback provided, not just within the writing capacity, but also with the clips provided. And we've kept the select report. So the select report is very much for if we have one of our senior referees on the 23s before doing the top team, if they're watching the referee in the middle as an assistant referee, they're able to provide a select report on that referee that is in the middle. And they're able to give feedback and a couple of coaching points just to assist them on their journey. So we want to make sure we're reporting the competencies. It's really important we're reporting these competencies. So developing, is the referee still developing their skills? This is for the tick and flick section. Expected, is the referee demonstrating skill to an expected standard for their age, experience, and competition level? And advanced, is the referee demonstrating skill to an advanced standard for their age, experience, and competition level? Obviously, if we're seeing reports coming in on match officials, and we have one coming in as they're developing and they're at somewhat like a somewhat easy level, we'll keep them at that level to keep developing for a bit. If they get watched again and we can see they're at expected, we'll give them a couple of difficult games and be able to put them down that pathway to get to within that advanced space. Obviously, we have someone that's identified as advanced. We're able to progress them a lot quicker. This is in consultation with obviously the appointments team, from our RDOs to our appointments team, to make sure we have this occur. We've also broken up into match management as well as a few other areas. We've broken match management, positioning, and movement, and we put a percentage on it too. So the 5 key areas break up here, and they all equal 100%. And it goes through all of this within the tick box phase on the coaching report forms. We see our positioning and movement, reading. We've got 3 key areas that we focus on: anticipation, dynamic movement, and strategic positioning. And it also touches point on strengths and improvements that we want to make sure we have. Now, the talent identification process. This is a new part that we've added to the form. As it used to be statewide, was we had a lot of coaching reports coming in, and it was a lot of what was written on the coaching report to see is someone advanced within their capabilities, and we're able to see that from there. So now we've added this talent identification tick boxes to make sure that the right match officials fit the right area. And it's broken up again. It's broken up into developing, expected, and advanced. But do they meet the right ones within the 4 FA principles? So we've got competencies, capabilities, chemistry, and character. If we have our match officials that, say, for example, meet all 4 of these, then that's someone we need to go out and have a look at for sure. We also need to get them exposed to more games. And they're probably someone for the future that we're able to identify pretty quickly. So it's really important because at the moment we just had a lot of reports giving a lot of positive feedback to a lot of officials, and there wasn't really any way to specifically identify and be able to find that talent identification unless they, of course, were promoted to go to training, came down to training, we were able to see their face, come to a coaching session, come and have a chat with us, or sometimes even an email from a lot of you matchday coaches that are out there for a lot of the referee coaching development officers to go and watch some of these officials. So we wanted to get this streamlined, and we want to get this statewide so that we're able to identify earlier processes for especially referees who are in the under 13s to see if they need moving up. We've got a couple of officials who have been stuck in the junior space for a bit too long, but haven't been identified properly yet to be able to be promoted to the next space. So we wanted to progress that further along. It also gives you some ideas of what each of the coaching reports are looking for during the year. Like I said, this will be put online. I want to get this online this week, and I'll make sure it gets sent out along with this video to the matchday coaches who couldn't jump on tonight, so everyone's aware of the framework space that's been worked on. It's going to be 2 seconds to go back into this section here. Okay, so we spoke about the education for matchday coaches, and obviously it's something that's been spoken about a lot for matchday coaches that are on the ground every week who are wanting to expand their knowledge, because of course we used to just have the level 3 matchday coaching and our level 2 to progress more so your education and understanding there. So we want to have education. We want to help educate you guys a bit more, and we have the Australian Institute of Sport, the Australian Commission, that has a section on being able to do so, and it's free for a lot of the content that they provide. We want to present more so a monthly session or every 2 months a session with you guys where we can go through some of the stuff, and we want to be able to bring in some of our elite matchday coaches, like our Casey Rybelts who'll be able to jump on, like our Renee Cogills, to come back and also teach some of this content to our matchday coaches and our emerging matchday coaches. So why do we need it? The course is designed to support the development of match officials and the coaches who mentor them, and it provides practical guidance on building strong relationships between our match officials and their coaches. So the topics that are covered and that we'll be going through when we're looking to run these sessions is the tell, ask continuum, asking powerful questions, listening with intent, building a psychologically safe environment, the iceberg model of behavior, the ladder of inference, the grow model, and grip feedback and feed forward models. So this will be the content that we will be going through to present to you guys as well to expand your learning. It's also available on the Australian Institute of Sports website if you guys are wanting to jump in and have a look at that at a later date. Our matchday coaching moderation, obviously, and this was something too that was given as a lot of feedback, was a lot of our matchday coaches wanted a lot of feedback on their report writing. So rather us getting all the feedback and be able to do so, we kind of put on, and I'm sure Adrian can appreciate this, and a couple of the other teachers that are on board tonight, we put our teaching hats on, and we came together and said maybe we just have a moderation session to make sure we can all understand and make sure we're all on the right page of what we're doing. So the purpose of the match day coaching moderation is to ensure that the reports and feedback are valid, reliable, fair, and consistent. So moderation is a quality assurance that will allow match day coaches to provide consistent feedback about match officials, consistent language and key concepts in a match day coaching report, ensure that judgments in reporting are appropriate and consistent, identify and improve any issues, and match day coaches can engage in professional conversations and collaborate their judgments about referee performances together. So we have an ETA about March 2025, and the only reason why we're saying March is because that's when the season mostly starts for a lot of our officials and match day coaches across the state. The Advanced League space, of course, starting on this Friday, the 31st of January. So in the first couple of months of the season, we'll be running a trial with this moderation. So feedback will be gathered on the process for a possible statewide rollout. We're gonna have a more condensed session before opening up statewide. Those involved will be contacted in due course to outline the process, and everyone gets given we'll have the same semi-professional match to watch online to create a report. So we'll make sure everyone's on board with the same one match to be able to write up a report and provide feedback and come together with the moderation. And as a group, we'll get together online to discuss key points and reporting of this game. Obviously, with the use of Teams, we are able to break you out into breakout rooms, so you guys can sit in a room with about 4 or 5 of you and be able to provide feedback and go through a lot of the content, whilst also providing feedback to us from that too. And we want to make sure everyone's on board and everyone's providing the same information statewide, rather than providing, for example, information up in, let's say, Wide Bay. It's different information that's being provided to someone in Whitsunday Coast, and same down here with Brisbane. So we want to make sure everything's a blanket effect statewide. It's pretty quick, simple session. Like I said, for the match day coaching tonight, there wasn't any sort of clips or anything. A lot of it's going to be hands-on this year, making sure we're running these sessions for our match day coaches to be able to provide and also gain a lot more education for you to progress down the match day coaching pathway. It's not really a pathway that was sort of opened up to a lot of us many years ago, and a lot of the young referees and match officials that are online tonight. And when I say young, I do see, apologies, Tom Fell, I do see your name pop up, mate. That does include you, believe it or not. So a lot of our young match officials who are still officiating within the high level space, this is an opportunity for yourselves to find another pathway in case you're not able to run around on the field as much as you can anymore. Tom Fell, you're a terrible example because you probably run around till I don't know, you maybe 60, mate. But it's another pathway for a lot of our young match day coaches to look down, as well as help the next generation of young match officials come through. So please, please, please keep that in mind. And we're really looking forward to this 2025 season for our match day coaches. So thank you for joining us online. If you guys have any questions, happy for you to put them in the chat, and Mark and I will go through them. Or if you want to raise your hand, and we can also go through it for the night. I will just pop back to the QR code in case anyone missed it at the start and wants to input their name. It is 50 or 50th. Again, that's the code word, 50 or 50th, to celebrate Meesook's 50th A-Leagues match from yesterday.
Is the link for the new reporting page uploaded yet? No, it's not, Adrian. It's the new report is not up. Well, it's uploaded, but it's not public yet. We've got a few bugs that we just want to iron out. As we're all aware, we need to ensure that everyone gets a copy of the reports. And last year, that didn't happen, and that's a few bugs within the system that we're working through now. AIS, I think, is in the next slide. Brad, if you wanted to copy that link out and drop it into the chat.
I'll get that.
And it's important that the moderation, we looked across the board. When we read the match day coaching reports, they vary in such a large way that we were looking for a way to bring everyone together so that we all said the same things and we're all a consistent approach across the state. And that's the challenge that we have. How does coaching work for those that have returned to refereeing and no longer young? So I think matchday coaching works across the board, Michael, whether you're young or not. It really depends on your availability to the games. As an example, Michael, if you're refereeing on a Friday night and the games that you're appointed to, for example, under 18s on a Saturday, it's about how we work together with your skill set to make it work on the games. Our target is to try and give everyone in the state coaching through the year. There will be an upcoming matchday coaching accredited course. We just need to check with FA as to the course content, as obviously they're changing a lot of their course content over the last 6 to 12 months, and to see if there's an updated version that will be coming out shortly, or whether we create one similar to where it should be at. For those that did the senior football match official session with Kate, I would assume that it would be a very similar session to what Kate presented to the coaches, is what I would assume, but I don't know that for sure. So we just need to confirm that as we move forward, Adrian. It's important too that if you haven't done the session with Kate for the senior football match officiating, can you please send us an email to referees@footballqueensland.com.au, because we have one more session that's coming up. Off the top of my head, I believe it's the 26th of February off the top of my head, but I'll have to confirm that, where we need to get you ticked off through FA to present that sort of material moving forward if you're at that level. Short and sweet, Brad. Not many questions tonight. Fire away, Vince.
Are we going to keep a track of levels? Well, I'll still talk old terminology. Level 3 and level 4 referees that need assessments after they've done their courses. I know a couple of young guys that have been running with me lately that haven't had their level 3 assessments done all of last year, and a few of I done 15 odd for courses last year, and I think a lot of them never got their field test done.
Yeah, so to answer your point blank question, we've got a list of names that will be first on our priorities to get things done this year. There are those that also have not completed the work required to be field tested. So there were those last year that jumped into a course that had not completed content. So they're not eligible. And Christine's going through that list and saying, hey, you haven't completed X content. We cannot give you field testing until you've completed content. In respect to, I hope that answered the question, Vince.
Yep. Thanks, mate. It's the norm. They're saying they haven't been done, but yeah, there's stuff that they haven't done in the first place.
Yeah,
that they need.
It's a double-edged sword. Some have completed and they're on the list to be looked at, and some haven't completed their end of the bargain yet, so therefore they won't get looked at. In respect to the shop, the delay on the shop is the technology as we're changing process from the Scottish shop to a Shopify shop. Our target for the shop to be open, and it is only a target at this stage, is 3rd of Feb. But as soon as it becomes available, we will notify people through Scotty. Kappa actually have the stock in Melbourne currently, so it'll be a really quick turnaround for stock to come out from Melbourne. Brad Mark, do you believe it would be ideal once the appointments were made, these guys advise a ballot? All matchday coaches will need to have their availability in the system like referees. They're appointed similarly to referees. If they're not they're assumed through Scotty to be available, and if they're available, they'll get appointed. Paul, like referees, matchday coaches need to have their availabilities up to date.
Really important on that one there too. I'll just add in there. Say, for example, you've got games on the weekend, but want to do a couple of match day coaching somewhere else out wherever you are. Please let the appointments team know beforehand. don't just rock up and just do a report on it. We need to be made aware before you go out and do the match, because the match official also needs to be aware, and you need to be on the appointments page for them to know that you're going to be attending.
If you do that and you're not in as appointed match day coach, you won't get paid. Simple as that, because you're getting paid through Scotty, so you won't get paid. Fire away, Zach.
Thank you, Marcus. 2 questions. First one is, what level does the scoring start at? Will we be required to do scoring for, say, a senior coaching report, or is it just going to be for the advanced league?
We're changing that system a little bit, Zach, in the fact that we're looking at percentiles going back to Brad, if you want to flick to the document. Our document, not AIS. Matchday coaching. So we're looking at the competencies, the matchday management, how they break up. And at the end of the process, you'll see the form, it'll be easy, but we're more looking at competencies within the game rather than a score, where we used to start everyone at 7.82, I think it was, on memory. Everyone started at an 8.2 or a 7.5, can't quite remember off the top of my head, and we're up and down as per that structure. We're now looking different process, which falls us in line with the FA coaching processes. We're trying to stay with the FA coaching process, so that, using you as the example, Zach, if you're doing NST, you know what to expect coaching wise, or if you go to a tournament.
Okay, that's all good. Only just bringing up because we've got extra KMIs, and obviously if they miss a handball compared to missing a dog, so making sure that, like, we don't go, oh, they've done really well but missed one, what we call KMI now, and they don't get roasted for it. So that's
so right. that would fall under their competencies, and then we'd have to go back to coaching them about. So if you go down a little bit, Brad, the expectations expected versus scroll down. There it is. Up. Where we've got that point, the competencies, developing, expected, or advanced.
Yep, perfect. All right, that answers that question. Second one was around select reports. If we've, and this is maybe a little bit selfish, but if there's MPL appointed refs, so say you've got a women's MPL ref or a men's MPL ref, where they would generally have one appointment, would it be appropriate to do, and we've got the opportunity to say watch the first half, maybe 60 minutes of the 23s beforehand, is there any value in a select report there, or is it just leave it and just, if we see something, have a
I think the best way to answer that one, Zach, would be, it'll be a basis by basis conversation. In some cases, yes, there would be some value in it, and in some cases, no, there wouldn't be some value in it.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Makes sense. Cool.
Jack, anything else, Zach? Sorry.
No, that's me.
Jackson, no, we don't have an update on the RC Doos. I can tell you at this stage that the Northern Conference, the gentleman that was offered the role, declined the role. And as such, the Northern Conference is heading back into the way it was for 2024. We're still waiting for an update for SEQ and Central. Michael, will matchday coaches be seen on Scotty for the match officials also? Yes, Michael, you will be appointed through Scotty, and once you accept the games, we've set it up this year where you'll be able to, for your appointed games, you'll be able to see who the referees are, and they'll be able to see that there is a matchday coach appointed to their game. Assuming that Scotty works correctly.
Hey, Mark, going back to select reports,
Yes, mate.
Brad said only on 23s in the advanced leagues or whatever. Can that be worked on for Like, for instance, if I'm running 18s and 16s lines or something for some of those good young guys that we got running around in there at present?
I'm going to say at this stage, no, we're going to leave it at the advanced leagues, because ideally we'd be looking for a junior coaching report on those guys. But I will defer back to, on a case by case, we might, as an example, Vince, you might be running a line for me and we decided that Mark needs to be looked at, then it'd be a case by case. And or if there were specific issues with good, bad, or otherwise with a referee where we needed them looked at for a particular reason, then we may ask you to do it. But that would be an exception to the rule rather than the rule.
Yep. Okay.
How do you identify if you want to do match day coaching or mentoring? Match day coaches and mentoring, Brad, through Squatty. Normally we would communicate directly with you, Craig, if you were mentoring versus match day coaching.
And if you wanted to do anything extra, because how it views you elsewise is it sees you as a referee, clearly. And if you wanted to do anything extra, or say, for example, you wanted to go, hey, I just want to do match day coaching or mentoring on Saturday and referee on Sunday, send an email to appointments@footballqueensland.com.au, and then we'll be able to fix that in. We'll make a note and and the appointments team will be able to fix it up for you as well.
Lockie, I would hope that your availability would be up to date. You should be able to go in once we get our appointment structure. You should be able to go in and make yourself available or unavailable subject to the referee games. We can tell when a referee's looked at a game and not accepted it, and that may delay us appointing them as a match day coach.
I think it's really important if you say, for example, you're injured as well and you still want to be involved, email in appointments and say, I'm injured at the moment, but still want to do match day coaching. I'm going to leave myself available. They'll be able to put a note down. And then once you become fit again and you're able to run around, then let the team know and they'll be able to fix it up for you.
And it's really important, Paul's put a note in there that we need all of you to update your availabilities, as we've got under 13 grading, and generally we do a lot of field testing for our level 4 referees in the under 13 grading. So we need to know how many of you are available ASAP. Paul, do you have a date for the grading when it kicks off? Paul? Paul's just looking up the date. So if I remember correctly, we probably had in excess of a couple of hundred referees that needed to get their level 4 completed last year. And we'll be looking to get as many of those into grading as possible, so that we can get them fully accredited. So if you can get an update your availabilities as match day coaches, that would be fantastic. While Paul's looking that up, any other questions for this evening? Really important to have that open door communication. If something's happening or not happening, to email either referees or appointments so you can communicate with us directly, so we can actually give you the answers. There are a lot of stories floating around as we're all aware, in our football community about this, that, and the other. You need to come to the horse's mouth, which is either Paul, myself, or Brad, to get the answers. Grading starts on the 7th of March, so it's not that far away. Adrian, far away.
When I'm running presenting a course, do I make myself unavailable from the point of view of match day coaching?
Yeah.
I knew the answer. I just thought that was worthwhile putting up there.
You're all good.
That's fair enough, Adrian, because I'm particularly poor at doing my availabilities when I'm doing courses. Okay, if there's no other questions, we might allow everyone to have an early night and recover from. There are 71 referees required. There are 71 referees required field testing prior to the 8 courses being run between now and 7. So that's metro based. So we're looking at field testing 71 referees currently. Gives you an idea, and that goes back to your question, Vince. There are a lot of level 4s that we need to field test. Yeah, well, as I said, assuming that we'd probably get to maybe 100 people. I think the grading games are at centralised venues because I think they do a round robin type system, but I could be wrong on that, whether they've changed that this year. For those of you that are currently instructing as well, there will be a challenge with the number of new referees coming into the system because of registration with Play Football. So if we may end up getting a large influx of new to football referees, so those that don't have FA number, post the next few weeks. Currently, they can't get into eTrainU without an FA number. So if they're new to football, they can't get in and do the pre-learning, so they can't get into a course. Just a heads up, because I know Marsh had a few on Sunday that were walk-ups that were unable to get into eTrainU to do their learning.
So that being the case, do we still push them through the course, and then that's the follow-up stuff that they haven't done that we were just talking about with the level 4 as well? That's
the challenge that we live in Vince. And Marsh probably can talk to this some more. The problem that we have with doing that, in all honesty, is that they don't know what we're talking about while we're doing the refresh on the content of level 4, which is, when you think about it, if they don't know what we're talking about and they haven't done laws of the game, then it's a bit of a waste of time for them to sit in.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. And a lot of blank faces, even though they may have years of football knowledge, it just didn't reciprocate with the information I was trying to deliver from what they haven't actually done in the precursor before the course.
So we're turning those people away?
No, I'd still invite them in.
Yeah, okay.
Because on the back of what my understanding is, they'll actually do receive the information within the next, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, within the next few days to a week.
Subject to when we have a solution to our current registration issues with Play Football, and I'm not sure when that is currently. So that may be delayed subject to that resolution. I'm in two minds. My gut tells me that they can't be registered for, and please tell me if I'm wrong here, Brad, they actually can't be registered for a course to do that course that you did on Sunday, using yours as the example, Marsh. The course, so they can't retrospectively be put into that course moving forward. So that's where it's going to create a challenge where they're going to have to register for another course to get their qualification as they move forward.
It's a the course that they do in the classroom is a recap of what they would have learned on the online content. So if they come into the classroom and they haven't done any of that online content, they don't have a Scooby-Doo with what's going on ultimately.
It's a catch-22, and I'm hesitant to say no, they don't come in, but the problem is, as Brad's just used the terminology, they won't have a Scooby-Doo what we're talking about. And that's a challenge within itself. So I don't really have that answer. And I think it's going to be a decision that you as instructors will need to make on the day, to be quite honest. I just don't have that answer. In respect to your question, Hannah, Brad has sent an email to eTrainU for those that have done the content to have the materials made available. They'll be working through that list, and it'll come up in your eTrainU profile, and it'll be under your resources, or is it under training, Brad? I just can't remember. It's resources.
It's under training. It's under training. Right.
Adrian will know. It'll once it's available, it'll be in your profile under eTrainU.
Yes,
and we've asked
in training.
In training. And we've asked Eloise at eTrainU to move through that as quickly as possible. Yes, Tony, they could. I think we have enough pundits here in Australia without needing to watch the UK pundits.
Alrighty. I think